We've all been thinking about Squid Game Season 3, and many fans have created some wild theories. But what would the darkest case be like? How low can rock bottom really get? After digging through countless fan posts and comments, I've mapped out a final scenario that is not only extremely possible, but it's also far from a happy ending. There are multiple ways this could play out, so let's break down each possibility and build toward what I believe is the darkest ending. The pattern of sacrifice. The show itself may have already warned us that Gi-hun won't make it out alive. Think about the pattern connecting our three main characters, Il-nam, In-ho, and Gi-hun. On his deathbed, Il-nam admitted he left his lover behind to focus on the games. In-ho abandoned his mother and brother to either stop the games initially or eventually become part of them as the Big Daddy frontman. And now Gi-hun has left behind his daughter to get revenge on the organizers and put an end to the games. This pattern isn't coincidental. It's storytelling foreshadowing at its finest, leading me to believe that G-Money is destined to face the same fate as Il-nam, to die alone. The choice to put his ambitions above his family will have devastating consequences. Season 1 ended with Gi-hun turning away from the plane that would have taken him to his daughter.
게임에 참가를 원하십니까?
성기훈, 잘 들어. 난 말이 아니야. 사람이야.
456. 허튼 생각하지 마.
용서가 안 돼. 너희들이 하는 짓이.
그 비행기를 타. 그게 당신한테 좋을 거야.
Season 2 opened with him hunting down the recruiters. His obsession with vengeance has completely consumed him, to the point where he's willing to risk everything to bring down the organization. Season 3 will undoubtedly see him enter a place he can never come back from, shutting him off from everyone around him. After the chaotic rebellion, where he and other players managed to arm themselves and attempt to take down the organization from within, everything went sideways. Jung-bae, his closest remaining friend, was shot dead right in front of him by the frontman, leaving Gi-hun completely broken.
456번, 영웅놀이는 재밌었나? 잘 봐, 네 영웅놀이의 결과가 어떤 건지.
기훈아.
This devastating conclusion to Season 2 sets the stage for what will likely be an even darker final chapter. Gi-hun is now a captive of the organization he sought to destroy. The front daddy knows exactly who he is, and more importantly, knows that G-Money was the previous winner who came back to dismantle the games. The organization won't let him go. They can't at this point. He's seen too much, knows too much, and has already proven he'll stop at nothing to expose them. This puts Gi-hun in an impossible situation where escape seems increasingly unlikely, and his death is almost certain. The return to the games. The most sinister path forward is for the organization to force Gi-hun back into the games for Season 3, but not as a regular contestant. Think about what makes for the most painful form of punishment, making him one of the VIPs who watches others suffer, or perhaps even worse, forcing him to control their deaths. Imagine him being forced to lead the teams in the game of human chess that people have theorized they'll play. He'd need to either face the front daddy in capturing each other's pawns, who are actually real players being killed, or completely control the game by playing against himself. He'd be directly killing these poor people. But our guy's resilient. Throughout Season 1 and 2, we've seen Gi-hun maintain his moral compass even in the most horrific circumstances. He refused to betray his allies when others would have. He tried to save as many people as possible. This fundamental goodness at his core means he would resist becoming a willing participant in the organization's cruelty as best he could, even if his life was on the line. And that resistance is exactly what will lead to his downfall. The scale of the operation is far bigger than anyone imagined, with the power of the staff seemingly endless. They have random fishermen on their payroll, pay guards to spy on or kill former players who left the games, and even one of their recruiters took 2 years to find. This means they can almost certainly put their hands into the USA. And if they do, G-Money's world could come crashing down when they threaten his daughter if he doesn't participate in the games or kill the other players. After failing his daughter so much in the past, will Gi-hun really have what it takes to get her killed? Or will he try to make a heroic last stand to bring her out of harm's way and take down the games once and for all? Whatever he tries, I'm sure it can only have one outcome, and that's his death, the ultimate sacrifice. This brings us to the darkest prediction for how Gi-hun's story will end. After everything he's seen and done in the games, on top of abandoning his daughter, I can't imagine a happy ending for him, especially in the harsh world of Squid Game. In the final episodes, Gi-hun will face an impossible choice from the front daddy. Sacrifice himself to save the pregnant player 222, who many fans speculate will die, or die trying to capture one of the VIPs and alert Jun-ho of the game's location. But here's where Gi-hun's character has always shined. Even when faced with impossible odds, he chooses to do what's right. With the help of Jun-ho, Gi-hun will record evidence of the games, but getting this evidence out to the world will require him to stay behind while facing certain death. In those final moments, Gi-hun will call his daughter one last time. He'll apologize for not being there and tell her that everything he's done has been to make the world a better place for her. Then the frontman will enter, gun drawn. There will be no dramatic fight, no last-minute escape. Just a man accepting the consequences of his choices. The screen will cut to black as we hear the gunshot. And that's the end of the show. The price of revenge. Throughout both seasons, Squid Game has focused on the painful costs of obsession. For Gi-hun, his obsession with exposing the games has cost him everything. His relationship with his daughter, his freedom, and ultimately his humanity. Remember how haunted Gi-hun was after winning the first games? How he couldn't even touch his prize money for a year because of the guilt? That was before he actively participated in trying to bring down the organization. Before he watched even more people die in his quest for justice. The psychological toll on him by the end of Season 3 will be unbearable. In many ways, death might be a mercy compared to living with the weight of everything he's witnessed and done. Every night, he'll see the faces of those who died because of his choices. Young-bae and all the others who joined his failed rebellion will haunt his dreams. Maybe he'll even get nightmares about the many players who are speculated to die horribly in the final games. Many brutal deaths. If there's one thing we can be sure PF in this show, it's that many people will have brutal and sad deaths. Anytime we get attached, something awful happens. And this season will be no different. Thanks to the dormitory walls, as well as the Season 2 mid-credit scene, we can be pretty confident in guessing the cruel games in store for the rest of the players. A game of insanely high monkey bars seems to be coming up, similar to the glass bridge, but this time, instead of luck, it's all about that upper body strength. We can be certain that this will claim the life of Granny 149, since her frail body won't last through such a demanding trial. A lot of people are also saying that the pregnant player 222 will die here, but that would be an incredibly harsh way to die since her baby would too. Some fans instead believe that she'll be caught out in the Korean version of London Bridge. In this game, the two robot dolls form an arch with their arms while players walk through during a song. When the song ends, the dolls drop their arms, eliminating anyone caught between them. The process repeats until only a few players remain. As with previous games, many players will die immediately during the first round as others learn the rules. The survivors must witness these brutal eliminations as the game continues. If the pregnant player is caught in this match, it's unlikely the frontman will allow her baby to die, given his past experiences. This means it could be spared while the mother is killed, raised to become the successor of the games and the new front daddy, or front mommy, I guess, that's also possible. Then we have the trolley problem. This one's very likely to be placed in G-Money's hands as a form of torture from the frontman. Many fans believe that he'll be forced to oversee a game where the philosophical moral dilemma is brought to a sickening real-life form. There's be a group of players in line to be eliminated, unless Gi-hun presses a button to sacrifice someone in their place. I'm sure the front daddy has an evil plan for this, such as killing the grandma's child to build hatred towards G-Money. And there wouldn't just be one round either, since that'd be over too quick. To cut down the players successfully, this will need to be played multiple times. Beyond Gi-hun's fate. The true horror of Squid Game's ending won't just be what happens to our main man, but what it says about the world as a whole. The games are a metaphor for capitalism gone wild, where desperate people risk everything for money, while the rich sit back and relax, watching just for kicks. Junho's investigation will likely reveal an operation extending far beyond Korea. Even if he and Gi-hun manage to expose one branch, which is unlikely, others will continue around the world. A lot of fans have been speculating for a while that the games actually run internationally, and that we're simply viewing one country's version of the game. The post-credit scene of the finale might show new recruitment cards being handed out worldwide, new desperate people accepting, and new games beginning as others end. This is what makes the prediction for G-Money's death so powerful. It's not just losing a character we care about, it's realizing his death or victory changes almost nothing. The machine keeps running regardless. He never had a chance to make a dent in the first place. Squid Game's most brutal message is that sometimes the bad guys win, not because they're smarter or stronger, but because the system protects them. The games aren't an accident. They're the natural result of a world built on exploitation, and nobody can stop it without breaking the entire foundations on what they're built upon. And that, more than any character death, is the truly devastating conclusion waiting for us in Season 3. What do you think of our dark predictions? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, drop it a like, and if you want to see more Squid Game content and theories, click the video on screen now.